Thanks for stopping by my channel. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos. Today I'd like to talk about two subjects that you wouldn't think normally would go together, and that would be pastors and vaccines. So you might think that's crazy, and it's not. I'm making a point. Bear with me. Well, but first I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what I'm talking about. My husband, he came across an article about all these pastors and other leaders that had, sorry, I've got to get the screen right. There we go, in case I need to share the sound. Pastors that had agreed, well, had signed a statement saying that they believed that Christians should not only wear masks, but that they should take the vaccination when it becomes available. So that's saying an awful lot. Here's the article here. It says 2,700 evangelicals warn against politicizing coronavirus. Urge Christians to take vaccine. So that's 2,700 high-profile evangelicals. So, let's see. I wanted to point out that they're saying that we are deeply polarized. We are deeply concerned about the polarization and politicization of science. Politicization, that's a big word, of science in the public square when so many lives are at stake. The word science has become a weapon in the culture wars, okay? Scientists are vilified and their findings ignored while conspiracy theories go viral. Sadly, Christians seem just as susceptible to these trends. Okay? So, well, I thought, okay, that's your opinion. And there was another one in HuffPo, which is pretty much, saying believers should take science seriously during the pandemic. So, okay, whatever. So I clicked the link BioLogos, which was founded by, big surprise here, U.S. National Institutes of Health Director Francis Collins, a devout Christian geneticist, right? Whatever. Okay, fine. His opinion. So let's go to the BioLogos. Logos is word. So I don't know what he's trying to apply here. But you've got the HuffPo, you've got the Christian Post, Religious News Service, all the various parties. Look at all this, 5,000 and counting. See, you don't want to be left out, right? So a statement, yada, yada. But I wanted to point out here, this lie. It says, get vaccinated against COVID-19, blah, blah, blah. A large fraction of the population needs to be vaccinated to develop the herd immunity, okay? Large fraction. All right, herd immunity. If you haven't heard about it, it just implies, or it's just a theory, and actually it's been proven, I believe, that there's a certain percentage of the population that needs to have a particular flu, cold, whatever it is, disease of some kind, then that they create, these people, healthy people, create antibodies, and these antibodies protect not only them, but they're passed on to their fellow citizens, and so therefore it protects them, protects everybody from, at least that's my understanding of it. I'm not a scientist, so don't quote me on that. But anyway, so I thought, okay, that's fine. Let's see what the experts say. Okay, and here it is. It got turned around. Sorry about that. Scientists say herd immunity might be achieved at 50% or lower. Okay, well, that's what some scientists say. But if you read a little further, let's see, it's under get back. Where's that at? Oh, too far. Sorry about that. Estimates for herd immunity reportedly decreased when real-world variations of demographics and density were added to the equation. Some research said herd immunity to coronavirus could be reached with as little as 10 to 20% infected. Well, I'm a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure we've already reached that level, which means if we have already reached herd immunity, then there's no need for this vaccine, this $1 billion vaccine to be developed, and somebody's getting rich off of this, but we're not even going down that road. So here's where pastors come in. Oops, wrong one. Sorry about that. There's another one sneaking under here. Okay, this is where pastors come in. Not only do you have them saying that they believe everybody should get vaccinated, it's the Christian thing to do. It's what Jesus would be pleased with them doing, right? Okay. The role of religious leaders, this is in PubMed, which means they have been studying the impact of religious leaders, which is no surprise when you consider one of the first things that we did when we wanted to take out Native American tribes is take out the religious leader for them. So in this case, I think these people might have been bought off, but that, that's just my opinion. The role of religious leaders in promoting acceptance of vaccination within a minority group, a qualitative study, which qualitative means, let's see, collecting and analyzing non-numerical data, text, video, or audio, to understand concepts, opinions, or experience. It can be used to gather in-depth insights into a problem or generate new ideas for research. Okay, so let's go through here to the conclusions. Let's get to the good part right here. Okay, you get religious leaders' attitudes towards vaccination vary from full acceptance to clear refusal, so on and so forth. But this must have been a Dutch government. So it was a Dutch study, but people are the same everywhere. So I wanted to point out, let's see, I made a note of this. The positions, where'd this go? Obviously, they choose leaders whose views are compatible with the views of congregation members. Okay, here it is. Although the dialogue with religious leaders that is pursued by the Dutch government, you can fit American government in there, may be helpful in controlling epidemics by other means than vaccination, it's unlikely to increase vaccination. So they're saying that unless the preachers, unless the pastors are on board, you're wasting your time. That's essentially what they're saying. So given the fact that over 2,000 people, I'm not even going to call them pastors, people that call themselves pastors, have signed on to this saying, you need to get vaccinated. That tells me, yeah, what their thought is. Okay, so anyway, let's get into the Bible. Let's see what the Bible says. Now, the Bible doesn't talk about vaccinations, but it does talk about false brethren, which, in my view, is what we're dealing with. Let's see, Galatians 2, verses 4 and 5. Well, let's back up, just might as well. It's not that much. Let's go ahead and read it, shall we? Always good to read. Then after 14 years, this is Paul, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas, taking Titus along with me. I went up because of a revelation and set before them, though privately before those who seemed influential, the gospel that I proclaim among the Gentiles. See, he went to those that would be convincing of the other brethren, which is what people do if they want things to take hold. And Paul, he had spreading of the gospel in mind, which is good. But our pastors, well, I know the leaders, they've already shown themselves to be what they are. He wants to make sure I was not running or had not run in vain. But even Titus, who was with me, was not forced to be circumcised, though he was a Greek. See, because there was a problem back in the early church. They thought that, well, to be a true Christian, you had to be circumcised if you came into the fold and you weren't obviously Jewish. So because of false brothers, this is the point I wanted to make here. Yet because, oh, sorry about that. I get a little glitchy here. Yet because of false brothers secretly brought in, who slipped in to spy out our freedom that we have in Christ Jesus, so that they might bring us into slavery, to them we did not yield in submission even for a moment, so that the truth of the gospel might be preserved for you. Okay? He didn't yield. They were false brothers, and I believe that's what we have a lot of among these so-called leaders. That's my personal opinion, and actually their actions show it. So moving on to Proverbs, I wanted to bring up, okay, Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 through 19. This is God's opinion, which is what we need to have. Not pastors, not so-called leaders, religious leaders, but God. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, which is pride, a lying tongue. Well, I would make a huge video if we even went into the lying that we've seen. I mean, you know, if you're half awake, you know. Hands that shed innocent blood, Cuomo, Fauci. The names can go on and on. Gretchen Whitmer. And hands that shed innocent blood. Well, let's see, 60 million and counting abortions. A heart that devises wicked plans. Let's see, Bill Gates. Let's get them all vaccinated with who knows what you got. Feet that make haste to run to evil. Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Here's the one I really wanted to point out. A false witness who breathes out lies and sows discord among brothers. Okay, so these pastors, they are guilty. Well, no, I can't say that. They have a right to their opinion. But when the science has shown that we're probably already at herd immunity, and the ethics of what they put in these vaccinations has been shown, and we know, and it's not a conspiracy theory, their own documents say it, then they are divisive. They're being divisive, and they are actually being diabolical when you think about it, because they're trying to, there are so many pastors. I mean, you think about these mega churches, all of the people that go there and that follow them. It's crazy if these people, well, they're already deceived, but then they're going to fall in line with the lockstep that these so-called pastors are leading their flocks into. It's not good. It's not good at all. Not at all. So that's just one thing. And I have one more thing I wanted to show you. This video is probably getting too long. But I really wanted to show you. This is another article. You'd be surprised what you can find on PubMed. And everything, well, not everything, a lot of it's free. Okay. Oh, first off, before I get going, COVID-19 is an emerging, rapidly evolving situation. Yeah, that means we're making it up as we go along. Oh, rats. That's not the one I wanted. There was another one here. Sorry, let me pull it up here. Here it is. Rising rates of vaccine exemptions. Problems with current policy and more promising remedies. In other words, how can we get people to agree to get jabbed? Alrighty. This is another one. Parents of school-age children are increasingly claiming non-medical exemptions to refuse vaccines required for school entry. It's not because they can't afford it, because they give free shots like they do. It's just not the cost, okay? The price of shots is not the problem for these parents. Many of them, I'm sure, it's because they are aware of the lies in the vaccine entry. So I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want to get off on that tangent because we could be forever. But I wanted to point out here, the resultant unvaccinated pockets in many areas of the country have been linked with outbreaks of vaccine preventable diseases. Okay, many states are now focused on reducing rates of non-medical exemptions by making exemption processes more restrictive or burdensome for the exemptor. Okay, in other words, making it harder on you to not comply. These strategies, however, pose ethical problems, you think, and may ultimately be inadequate. A shift to strategies that raise the financial liabilities of exemptors may lead to better success and prove ethically more sound. Potential areas include tax law, health insurance, and private school funding programs. We advocate an approach that combines this type of incentive with more effective vaccination education. In other words, brainwash. Brainwash doesn't work, or if it does work, great. Pay them, hit them in the wallet where people really care. Yeah, I don't want to keep this forever because I could go on and on and on about this. So, point being is these pastors are, in my opinion, being false brethren. Their Christianity, their status of being saved or not is not my call, but their actions are reprehensible considering the fact that the CDCs and National Institute for Health and all these other organizations that collect this data, their own numbers show that we don't need this vaccine because of the reduction in rates, and we are achieving herd immunity. There's actually scientists and doctors out there saying that, but the media, who are complicit in this, are keeping all that information quiet. So let me get out of here now before I really go down the rabbit hole. But if you haven't already, as I said earlier, please click to subscribe. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching, and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I have the next video uploaded. So God bless you. Keep in prayer. Keep praying for wisdom and discernment, and don't be fooled by the lies that you're being told. And if you have a family members in one of these big mega churches who is even in a church and their pastor's encouraging them to get vaccinated, you might want to pull up as much information as you can. That's all out there. It's not hard to find about what gets put in these vaccines and the agenda for Bill Gates and the others, and the impact that vaccines really do have. So until next time, God bless and have a great day. Bye.